Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition number 4 already, of the Bashor Children's Home 99 Club podcast. Hey, we're glad you joined us. This is an opportunity to give voice to the most vulnerable children and the experts who help them here at Bashor Children's Home. We're celebrating 99 years of helping children and their families, and we've created the Bashor Children's Home 99 Club. There's a purpose to that. We're searching for 99 people to give $99. And if you're one of them, you will get one of these. Hey, I'll hold it up. I'm not wearing it this time. One of these exclusive 99 Club t-shirts. And you get to help neglected children in our community. We're grateful to those of you who have signed up during the first couple of episodes already. I'm sorry, Brad, I probably should have brought a little larger one, but we'll work on that for the next time. Just join us by going to bashor.org and click donate. That's the 99 Club. And before we begin our conversation tonight, we do want to say a couple of thank yous. Thank you to Obico Incorporated, a Christian-owned and operated company dedicated to providing organizational solutions for everyday recreational lifestyles and organization. Visit the Organized OB website for answers, so you can see an array of unique organizational products for the RV, the marine, the heavy truck, the emergency, the military, and the cargo trailer industry. Our thanks to Obico Incorporated. And New Way Construction, where they promise to honor God through their words and their actions, to do things right and do the right thing, to engage and support our local community. New Way Construction, where they have completed more than 1,500 successful industrial and commercial projects since 1975. Our thanks to those participating sponsors who are underwriting the broadcast for our 99 Club. But again, you can participate. Go to bashor.org and click donate. Well, our guest this evening is Brad Miller. Brad and I had a little bit of a chance to cross during my Bashor days here. But he has since grown and taken on more responsibility at Bashor Children's Home. He is now the program director of emergency shelter care. And Brad, I guess we'll start the program off tonight. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and what has attracted you to the mission of Bashor Children's Home.
Yeah, thanks, Vince. I appreciate it. This has always been a mission that I knew of through church. I grew up at Burkett United Methodist Church, and we always, gave offering and stuff and yearly donations to Bashor. So I knew of Bashor, and it's kind of always in the peripheral of my life. And I had an opportunity in 2006, to apply here, and had a great interview with a gentleman named Mike Gardy. And we spent some time getting to know each other. He offered me a manager position back then, and the rest is history. We got very lucky, my wife and I. She got a job just down the road about 2 or 3 weeks later at Faith United Methodist Church, and she's been there ever since. And that her time there is going to be coming to an end soon. She's moving to a different location, which is exciting for her and for our family. And as you mentioned, a lot of different roles here, from manager positions in different cottages to operations director, and then back to where my heart is at emergency shelter care with the youth in the community that are in the middle of the crisis that we're able to kind of step into. So yeah, had a great family that lived close to here, so was always close enough and able to still stay here, devote my time here, and be close enough to family back in Mentone, Indiana. So it's been kind of the heart of me growing up. I started here at 26. Like you mentioned, we crossed over a little bit. You left in 2007, and so we had about 10 months together. But you're involved in so many things that I get to see you from time to time on the golf course or different events and things like that. So it's been great. I've enjoyed my time here, and I hope to not ever do anything else.
You know, before we start talking about the shelter care program, it's interesting you mentioned Mike Gardy. And a lot of times, you know, if you're watching ESPN, if you're watching a sports show, and they'll talk about a head coach, whether it's Mike Krzyzewski, who just retired as the basketball coach at Duke, or Bill Belichick, who's been coaching forever and winning championships forever in the NFL, they talk about coaching trees.
Mhm.
And you mentioned the coaching trees here at Bashor Children's Home, and I think of the roots that go deep in three particular people: Don Phillips, Sean McCrindle, and Mike Gardy. And all three have had a pretty big impact on what you do and how you do it.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny that I had some phone interviews before I came with Mike, and Sean was in the background, and you could just hear his personality coming through the phone. And so they were two of the first people that I met. Those two, along with Susie Lemieux, sorry, tongue twister there. She spent a lot of time with me over the years, helping to grow me here too. But especially those two. Yeah, and I like that term coaching tree because I definitely feel like I learned a lot from them, and hopefully the good stuff that they taught me, I've passed on to some other people.
So I'd have to ask you, what attracted you to the mission? Certainly you didn't know a lot about it. You'd heard about it when some of us came down to visit Burkett, or
Yeah.
because of the Methodist Association. But once you got your feet in the door, once you were on this campus, what has attracted you and held you here?
That's a great question. It's kind of a funny story. When I started, I was offered two different positions, one here in social work and one building cabinets. I would be going into homes and measuring and building cabinets. And I don't have a background in either of those in '06. I went to school for sports and recreation management at Indiana State. I wanted to be like Larry Bird and follow in his footsteps. Yeah. So at first, I had no intention of coming here. We were led here, my wife and I, by a prayer that we said in our living room, and we said, "God, we're going to go where you want us to go." And this was the very first search I did. But once I got in, times were a bit rougher back then. There were some, we have to do restraints and different things when it's necessary. And my very first day was the day after Christmas in 2006, and to set the scene, there was some broken concrete. A door had been pushed away from the wall. The place was a little distraught. The staff looked like they had been through some trauma there. And talking with them, they did not paint a very good picture. And 10 minutes after I started, I walked into the office and I called the guy back that offered me the other job, and I said, "Hey, if the job's still there, I want it. I don't think I can do this." And luckily, he said to me, "Sorry, when you turned me down, I filled it with someone else." And he said, "Well, I'm stuck. I might as well learn it and get to know it." And like you said, I fell in love with the mission. I don't know what drew me here to begin with. Obviously, it was a God thing through that prayer. For us to both be in the community still working after 15 years was a great thing. But I quickly learned that this is what I was made to do. This is what I was built for. I have the traits that are necessary. You need a lot of patience. You need a calm demeanor. You need to be able to think on your feet and problem solve and different things like that. And through the years, with a lot of great people around me and working with me, we've done a lot of amazing things for kids. And then, a couple years into it, once you develop those habits and you get to see the prolonged effect of what you're doing, when some of those kids start coming back and telling you how you've affected their lives, or you see them raising their own children and kind of breaking that cycle of whether it's poverty or whether it's drug use or whatever it is that got them here, and then you can have a small part in breaking that. It really just kind of drew me in. I, over the years, have attempted to leave. I tried to convince myself I was not a social worker, but I quickly found out that was a lie, and that this is where I need to be. So after a couple of attempts to try and leave, I found my mission and my life goal, and especially in emergency shelter care, it's what I'm really drawn to.
But you mentioned you and your wife with that prayer in the living room, and how God opened the door to here. And as we know, God not only opens doors, but he sometimes shuts doors. And little did you know that he'd be shutting a cabinet door so that you would end up here.
Yes.
Before we move on to emergency shelter care, you've mentioned the faith component and how much this has grown your faith. And, I can tell you during my tenure here at the Children's Home, two children's pastors, or youth pastors in particular, really affected my faith walk. And I refer to some of their teaching even today, in my own faith life today. One was Pastor Sam, who I think was here before you were. If you'd have visited here, you'd have been a youth group, and you'll make me feel old if you talk about coming here as a youth group. So, but the other was someone who I know you worked with, and that was Pastor Eric.
Yeah.
Who now has since become a senior pastor in Montana. And that faith component for many of the young people who come here, and especially in emergency shelter care, it may be the first time, either in a long, long time or ever, that they have been introduced to what it means to have a walk with God.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of them, when they get here, are hesitant to receive that. A lot of them have not maybe heard much about God. They've heard maybe the horror stories of church, or the reasons why you shouldn't go, or they've had parents that haven't wanted to take them. But it's neat. We do daily devotions. We do spiritual life groups. We encourage our kids to attend youth groups. Church on Sundays are optional, and we've recently restarted the Sunday night chapels for the kids to go to, and everything is going amazing there. Rusty Edwards, our chaplain now, heads up a lot of that stuff and helps to get the kids in the community and get involved. But yeah, we don't force it. We try to present it as an option. We answer questions. We're not preaching to the kids. We're not doing that sort of thing. We're not telling them that their beliefs are wrong if they don't believe in God. We meet them where they're at, and then we just encourage and let the Spirit work, let God work, and just hope and pray that on the other end, during their time here, that they are open to the idea of attending church on their own, or being involved in some sort of community event or activity that is presented by the church.
One of my more memorable moments here, I was standing in Don's office and we were watching out the window. I think it was during one of the summer festivals or carnivals or Olympics or whatever we were having. And we were watching Pastor Eric, and he was dressed up in a Batman uniform with flippers, and his hair was dyed purple. And I'm just looking out there and I'm going, huh? And Don, just in his very kind of unique, quiet way, just turns to me and points, and he goes, "That's exactly who I want my youth pastor to be."
Oh yeah.
And it just, you talk about meeting kids where they are. That's exactly what it was. Want to talk about emergency shelter care. First, let's remind the folks at home, you have an opportunity to participate as well. You can support the chaplain program or support some of the programs there. You can support some of the outreach that we have, the community outreach here at Bashor Children's Home, by becoming a part of the 99 Club. It's a $99 donation. We're looking for 99 people to sign up. Go to bashor.org, hit the donate, and we're going to get, I'm not going to lift the shirt right now because I'll make a mess, but you get a special limited edition 99 Club t-shirt just to get a thanks from us for what that's like. Just again, go to bashor.org and click donate to become a part of the 99 Club. And again, thanks to our underwriters, Obico Incorporated and New Way Construction. Well, let's get down to business. Let's talk about the program that you are most in charge of, and that is the emergency shelter care. Give us the nuts and bolts of emergency shelter care.
All right. Yeah, so we started shelter care back up. I believe it was April of 2016. I believe that we just hit our 6-year anniversary. And that's actually what drew me back. I was working part-time here at the time, and they reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be a part of that. And I jumped at the chance because it's a different type of mission that we do here. It's not kids that necessarily are going to live here for months or, a year at a time. They could be here from an hour to a day to a week to a few months. And it really is an array of different opportunities to get involved in different situations. And you can imagine any number of reasons why there's a homeless child in this county. It's not just about poverty and not having a house. Sometimes there's there's human trafficking, there's drugs, there's abuse, there's runaway, school truancies, and they might reach out to us just to have a place for the kid to stay safe and just get to school on a daily basis to kind of build a new routine and habit. So really, there's any number of reasons that a kid could be here. We do private placements where parents can call, and we offer benevolent care where we fit the bill. You know, we pick up the tab on those families because we want to be able to help, and we don't want money to stand in the way. Um, Probation might refer a youth. DCS might refer a youth. There's any number of ways that a youth can get involved with us. You might also see yellow safe place signs around town in different locations. I believe we currently have 28 safe place locations. Most of them are 24 hours a day, and we've personally gone and we've trained their staff on what do you do if a kid shows up and says, I need help. I need a safe place to go. And we have a system where we drop what we're doing and we're there within 30 minutes. We talk to the kid, and we decide if we're the best avenue of help, or if, you know, maybe it's police, maybe it's DCS, maybe it's just an intervention with the family where we can talk with them and build a plan. So that's another avenue. There's just so many different ways we've helped. I don't have an exact number, but it's probably close to between 450 and 500 kids in that time. Yeah. And we've had kids that have been here 2, 3, sometimes even 4 times, and there's no reason for us to say no in those situations, because, you know, we're not going to say, well, you had your chance, you're not welcome back. We actually probably open our arms even wider and say, yes, come on back. We want to try this again. Let's help you. Let's help your family. And our goal is to help them leave here in a better spot than when they got to us. And
Brett, give us a backstory, if you will, on maybe one of the first teens that showed up under the Safe Place program. Just some of the circumstances, how you were able to reach out, you know, a little bit of the personal story behind some of the numbers that we're talking about.
Sure. There's so many that have affected me greatly in my time. It's hard to narrow down to 1 or 2 to bring up, but I can think of one young lady who went to one of our safe places, and you know, it was out of fear. She was afraid to tell her dad about some stuff that was going on between her and her boyfriend. She was afraid that how her dad would react. He might be violent. He might kick her out. He might keep her from seeing him. She alerted me to the fact that there was a chance she was pregnant and didn't know how that would affect the child. So in a situation like that, you know, I sat down with her. We walked through the steps. We tried to decide, you know, is coming back with me the best thing? What else do you need? What can we do long term? And that was one of the situations where she actually didn't come to us, and that was okay, because I don't believe that we were the best avenue of help for her. But then we have there was a young man that called us, and he just literally did not have a house to stay in. He was trying to get his life on track. He was 18, and he wanted to get a job. He had no idea how to do any of those things. So he called out. He called the number 202 HOPE. 202-4673 is the number for the safe place in our emergency shelter if you need to make a referral. But he called that number. He explained the situation, and we were able to bring him in. We were able to help him get a job. I believe he was working down the road at Steak and Shake. We taught him how to I think he applied for his driver's license. We made sure his work permit was good. We helped him with all those things. And then he actually left us here, and he got an apartment on his own after being able to have 6 months of good employment. He was able to apply and have some money for a down payment for security deposit on an apartment. So, you know, there's just a couple of things, but I mean, I could probably spend hours just going through different scenarios of situations we've been able to help in. But one of the things I mentioned was human trafficking, and that is it's a very scary situation, because a lot of people picture it as my child's going to be abducted and taken to another country, or they're going to disappear, and it's not like that at all. Sometimes it's the kids staying at home with their parents, but they're getting gifts from people at school to be in this world that's very unsafe, and we're helping a lot of those kids too. We've recently started a program here on campus exclusively for girls in that situation. But a lot of times shelter care is the first it's the first avenue of help. It's
Right.
the first avenue of hope for those kids, and we've helped several girls in that situation. I say girls, it's girls most of the time, but there's been some boys that have come to us in those circumstances too. So it can be a very scary thing, especially for parents that don't know much about it. And we try to educate the community on those things too, warning signs and different things to look for that your kids might be involved in.
Well, you're getting terrific community response.
Yes.
People have bought into the Safe Place program,
Yes.
and have really stepped up in order to utilize the facilities.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we have not. Like many places, we've been understaffed, and we're looking for good people to come help. And we've recently hired a manager that's going to work with me at shelter care, and it's going to allow us to do even more. Go into the schools and educate more kids, get more companies involved in being a safe place. We've had a couple of fire stations. One here locally, Concord Fire Department has reached out on a few occasions, and they're trying to set something up because they want to help.
Right.
And because of a lack of help, we haven't been able to get them going. But that's okay. They're being patient, and we're gonna get them set up to help us out. And I just love the fact that they keep checking in. Hey, are we ready to go? We want to help kids. We want to do more stuff. And I believe the chief there that I've been speaking with actually came from another fire department that was already a safe place.
Oh,
and
okay.
he loved what they were doing and wants to be more involved. So that's very cool. And we hope to double, even triple the amount of safe places that we have.
Brad, give us just a little bit of a picture of, I think sometimes, trafficking would be a perfect example. We have a tendency to believe, okay, well, that happens with children in Nepal, and that's in Asia or Europe, and we've heard about Russian orphans and so on and so forth. And there is sometimes a tendency to sit back and go, okay, I'll donate, I'll contribute, because we know that's a problem there. That's a problem here.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely a part of this community. Elkhart's in a unique location because we're close enough to Chicago, we're close enough to South Bend and Gary, but it's also kind of right in that streamline of Toledo, Cleveland, all the way out. It's just a nice streamline of a lot of difficult situations that can be brought into this community. And yeah, I think that's the number one thing that I want to educate people on. And obviously there's people that work here for Bashor that are much more educated in this area than I am, but helping those kids in the first step of just realizing the warning signs, realizing when, on the early end of, that person may not really be your friend. They may not really want you to have these nice gifts. There might be some strings attached.
Yeah.
And really just trying to help educate. And it's really neat to see some of the response that you get from some of these young kids that they just, for the first time, they're hearing like, oh, good things that are being given to me can actually be bad things, and because a lot of them, come from situations where they can't go buy the newest cell phone or the best shoes or, have different things that they want or money in their pocket. And it's very tempting to do what you need to do to hold on to those things.
And the flip side is true as well, that things you don't have to stay mired in the mess either.
Right.
If bad things are happening, this is the same place where you can reach out and get help.
Yes. And I love that Bashor as an organization is doing a lot of things. There were so many great organizations at the Fathers Matter Forum last night. I don't know if any of you or the listeners were involved in that. It was great to see how many people in this community care about kids and want to get involved. There's so many great organizations, not just Bashor, that and so many great people that want to be a part of these kids' lives. And like you said, you don't have to be stuck in that because there's going to be people in this community that want to help. Obviously I wholeheartedly believe that the good guys outweigh the bad guys, and there's more of us good guys that are there to help kids, and we're going to keep reaching out. We're going to keep growing those numbers and getting more and more people on our side. This t-shirt idea with the 99 Club is fantastic. I want to see those shirts all over the community, and maybe we can do more than 99.
There you go. Let's
keep it growing.
Well, you'd be perfect for broadcasting because you just segued into my next thing. You're listening to the Bashor Children's Home 99 Club podcast. It's our opportunity to give voice to the most vulnerable children and the experts like Brad who help them. We're celebrating 99 years of helping children and their families. And no, Brad, it's not true. I wasn't here for most of the 99. Steve Ross may have been, but not me. And we've created the Bashor Children's Home 99 Club. We're searching for 99 people just like you to give $99. That's it, $99. And if you're one of them, you'll get an exclusive 99 Club t-shirt. And you can help neglected children in the process. Join us, go to bashor.org and click donate. And one final thank you as well to a pair of underwriting sponsors that make this podcast conversation possible. Obico Incorporated, a Christian-owned and operated company dedicated to providing organizational solutions for everyday recreational lifestyles. And New Way Construction, where they promise to honor God through their words and their actions, to do things right and to do the right thing, and to engage and support our local community. That's New Way Construction. Brad, let's talk also about the roots of emergency shelter care that actually go pretty deep. Off and on, emergency shelter care has been a cornerstone for the Bashor program. And that's when, when there's an unfortunate situation where a child needs to be removed from the home, or if there's an emergency situation where the child has nowhere to go. It's a place where placing agencies, Elkhart County probation, police officers, courts, etc., from all over the area can give you a call and say, Brad, we need some safe place for this child to be.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can only have a house that's so big, and we can only have so many rooms, and there can only be so many youth there at one time. I have the misfortune of being the person that a lot of times has to deliver that bad news of, you know what, we want to help, we just can't right now. We do have a wait list from time to time, but we try to reach out to those people that want to be involved and have the youth here so that we can offer a safe place for them. And obviously we're not perfect. I don't believe anyone could sit here and say that they are, but I know that when we have a staff of people that have a heart for kids and are just striving to do the best thing, to be here day in and day out for these kids, good things are going to happen. And like I said, I could share so many stories of my time in shelter care. It's a really neat program where we get to reach out into the community and help these kids. And I've had the privilege of going into schools and talking about shelter care or the safe place, and just giving them hopefully some tools to get involved before it gets too bad for them.
Well, you've been here long enough. Have you had the instance now where you've run into somebody in the community who remembers you from your time at Bashor?
Oh yeah, for sure. There was one that jumps out recently. I was at, I believe it was Chick-fil-A, or maybe it was Popeyes or something. I remember it was chicken involved, and there was a young lady that was in there, and she was kind of staring at me and looking at me, and I was looking at her. And it was one of the very first kids that I had in the secure program that I started right after my interview with Mike Gardy. And she's kind of looking at me, and then we just smiled because it clicked, and she remembered my name. She remembered stories about different things that had happened. I kind of pretended to remember her name, but unfortunately, as I'm getting older, my memory is not as good. But I think I was close enough that it sounded right, and she smiled because she knew that I at least remembered her and remembered our interactions. But it was really cool. She had her kids with her, and she was able to say, you know what, life's not perfect, but you guys helped me kind of go in the right direction. And it was great to see her there with her family, and she was happy and healthy.
Well, that's the thrill, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you see young people who have come maybe sometimes from shattered families, and they have families of their own. And what you've been able to help provide them has made a real difference.
Yeah, it's neat too. And obviously I can't give specifics, but sometimes there's been on a few occasions where a youth that we've had in emergency shelter care has a parent that was actually here when I started, because they're of that age now where they might have a 12 or 13-year-old and are able to come back and reminisce and share stories of their time here and ways that we've been able to help them. So unfortunately, their child is in a similar situation, but at the same time, their child is safe and happy, and those parents are doing the best job to parent their kids in the best way, and sometimes they just need a hand. Doesn't mean they're a bad parent, doesn't mean they're doing something wrong. It's just it takes a village sometimes to raise these kids. So we're happy to help them for sure.
Brad, a verse that carried me through my time here at Bashor more times than not, Jeremiah 29:11. I know I have the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. You're doing that hands-on in emergency shelter care. You're providing hope and a future. And I'm thankful for that conversation you had with him in your living room.
Yeah, for sure.
And the best of luck to you as you continue on. Thanks
I appreciate
for being
it.
with us.
Thank you.
Brad Miller. He is the program director of emergency shelter care. Don't forget, you can join the cause here at Bashor Children's Home. Become a member of the 99 Club. Contribute $99. Wear the t-shirt proudly. Just go to bashor.org and click donate. Thanks again to Obico and to New Way. Thanks to Dave O'Connor for doing the production tonight. I'm Vince Turner. Good night, everyone.